Frost spikes. More like frost yikes. Fresh and Buds now.
Fresh and
All right, folks. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I am your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds. And today we are joined once again by Alex, aka AshenWingzTCG. How you doing, my friend? Welcome back to the show. We have a lot to talk about.
Oh, we have so much. And Tommy, I'm doing great. Thankful, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be hanging out with the buds. It's always a pleasure. A lot has happened over the past couple of weeks, and I mean, it's just been Sage City over in my neck of the woods. So we definitely have a lot to talk about since that's been. So.
Oh yeah, not even even the past couple of days has been crazy, but we'll be getting to all that. Obviously, if you paid attention to the title of this episode, you saw Alex was on this episode and have listened to the first couple minutes of this episode. You could tell that we're going to be talking about Sage, but we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff too, catching up with Alex, seeing what's going on. But first, what's new with you? What's going on? How's the channel? How are things? How's life?
Life's good. Just got a promotion at work, so that's at least been very, very good. Excited for that. Going to be working some on-call hours, so I'll be probably technically at work for longer, but it comes with more pay, so that's what we want. But other than that, outside of that, everything else has been good. I mean, this channel's been good. We've been growing consistently. I finally have a legitimate schedule for most of my stuff. I feel like I've been pretty good about my releases over the past few months or so, just because that was always my struggle. Is I was like, sure, I'll get 3 videos out a week and that'll be fine. And then it just ended up being 1 video a week or 2 videos a week. And I was just like, I have to do something to make this a little bit easier. And so that's luckily my A to Z series has been doing pretty well. So very thankful for that.
Yeah, I love to see it, and I'm always paying attention to what you're putting out over there. And when you were back on the show for the first time, it was like maybe a year ago.
I think so. It's I mean, when I was going through my my year in review stuff for 2025, I was like, we started January of last year of me being on the Buds podcast. So I was like, oh wow. Let's make that happen again. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And, in terms of budget stuff, right, with this game, always kind of looked at you as someone that's like a very vocal voice about it. And obviously, since the last time you were on, we had Project Blue and then Sage, right? When did Project Blue even start? I kind of messing up the timeline now.
I feel like Project Blue started right around High Seas, I want to say.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it was maybe right before High Seas release, because we were still playing like NIMBY and all that other stuff in Project Blue, and then when it finally became Sage, that's when they banned cards from High Seas and Super Slam. So I want to say it's maybe a month after Hunted came out. Sounds about the right timeline for that. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it was. I guess that was that a Pro Tour around then? I mean, I don't really recall, but usually they do those big announcements. But yeah, it's been like a blur, right? Yeah. That format, like Project Blue. They're like, this is maybe something, maybe not. Yeah.
And then for a second it looked like it was dead in the water, and then actually it's this one thing called Silver Age.
Insane. It was insane. I mean, I genuinely was like, they're like, okay, we're going to stop talking about Project Blue. We're not going to talk, we had the thing that we did in New Zealand. Now we're not going to talk about it, and it's all going to be under, and we're like, okay, it must not have done super well. Somebody broke the format and made it not fun. They're going to put it back in development for another year. Maybe we won't see it. And then it was like, hey, everybody, we're done with it. Here it is. What? Yeah. What happened?
And then we're like, oh, it's not going to really premiere until Compendium of Wraith. And then people are like, well, no, we want to play it now. And then they were like, oh, I guess we got to let you do that. Which is kind of I think a double-edged sword, because, yeah, it's great that people want to play it. But also we kind of have a preconceived notion of what this format's going to be like. And they've tried to say this is like beta. It's like not even. This is not the final form.
Right.
So we'll see. Now, I have to imagine, right, that this is, and I can only imagine that you're going to agree with this wholeheartedly. But this has got to be the golden age of budget content for this game, because they were like, hey, here's a whole format that we're going to support. And it's very budget friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. I think that I've seen more people, even in the content space, I think I've seen more people pop up out of the woodworks just saying, like, I'm ready to do content on Sage, because it's something that they've wanted for a while, is like a competitive, cheap format. There are people who initially weren't even going to touch the game because of the cost of getting into Classic Constructed. And now they're like, oh, okay, cool. This is something I can at least touch on to learn about it. And I think that it's just such a good time for budget content in general, because it's something that I feel good. Not that I don't really feel that way about CC. It's something I feel good about, like standing on a soapbox and telling people about, being like, this is a game that you can play for $20. $20 can get you an entire deck, and you can go win a showdown and win $1,500 in cash prize and a gold foil. Like, you can do that for $20, and like some time investment is skill into the game. You can do that. And it's the more important thing has always been for me with budget content is I know so many people like, they take a break from Flesh and Blood because sometimes it's too expensive, or their day to day, they've an unexpected bill comes up and somebody's got to pay that. And so it comes down to a lot of people being like, oh, okay, well, maybe I have to sell my collection or sell my CC deck because I can't really play right now. Or maybe they're, they have a family and they don't really have time to play, so they'd rather that money go elsewhere to their family needs. And this is like, yeah, just keep around a $20 budget deck and then go play with your friends every now and again. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just so exciting, because I think even for people that aren't so budget minded, right? Like, I think even if they're not budget minded, I do think a low cost to entry will still, like, it makes it just easier for people to like convince, right?
Yeah.
Like, not even like, oh, like I know people that are like, could totally afford a CC deck, right? But they're just like, like, I don't know, like I'll try it maybe, and then you like try to convince them to do Talishar games or whatever, and that's just really not a great way to convince people to play the game. And if you're just like, hey, listen, we got these $20 decks, I'll buy them, and if you like it, you can buy it for me, or I'll just keep it, and if you like it, you go buy your own, right? So it's an exciting time, and like, it's a great time for content about it too. And I know you've been pumping it out. You mentioned your schedule, the A to Z series. This is like, I mean, like this was like a golden opportunity. You're doing this A to Z series for Silver Age. Can you talk about it a little bit, and what can people like expect if they take a look at it?
Yeah, I mean, the A to Z series, effectively, my initial concept was I wanted to wait until we got more information about specific changes for Silver Age. Once we got that information, which is the most current ban list, I said, you know what, it's going to be important because all of these heroes are going to be legal, especially for the first few months. And so I was like, you know what, even if it's a hero that maybe I personally wouldn't consider super viable in a format, like for winning a calling or whatever, I think there is opportunity for people to get, have their personal touch in a format like this, because they can play any hero they want. And so if they really do enjoy the play style of like Data Doll, for instance, that's something that's available to them. And so I just said, you know what, we'll just hit every hero. Some heroes are going to play pretty much exactly like other heroes, but hero powers are vaguely different. And it at least showcases what these heroes and classes are capable of. And at the end of the day, I wanted to have people to kind of be able to go back and take a look at the base version of a lot of these heroes and see kind of how they've grown over the course of time. You know, I'm as much as I would love to, unless it just like blows up, I don't know that I'm going to touch every single all 58 heroes when Pen comes out, right? But I do know at least like this is a great way to have a base for it. And people get to just kind of enjoy their favorite. You know, I get to talk about heroes that some people who are brand new to the game never got the opportunity to play in Classic Constructed. And they probably didn't even know Commoner was a thing at the point back then. So it's like, it really comes down to, you know, showing that there's a lot of personality involved in like a young hero format with all these heroes viable. And that's kind of wanted to showcase with all of it, is that there's a lot of options.
No, I love that. And, you know, it's like, I think everybody knows, right? First thing you do when you get into a game, especially like a hero-based game like this, where you're like, okay, I kind of really like what this hero looks like and what they're going to, like at least the text. You search on YouTube and all of a sudden content will pop up. And for a wide open format like Sage, as it seems to like kind of be, that's a really valuable resource. Now, you hinted at Commoner, my friend.
Yes.
Is it just dead? I mean, like, I have to imagine, because, yeah, like Commoner was always very cool to me because, like, you know, you could do some pretty cool stuff, but it was kind of bottlenecked in the way, right? And I don't know if this is does this just completely replace it? I know it has in the mind of LSS, but do you think for the everyday budget player it has?
I would say so. And frankly, as a big, you know, I was also on my soapbox telling people to play Commoner back when Commoner was a format. Obviously, it's not like what happened with Blitz and LL, where they just kind of got put down to like a once a year we'll do a thing for it. It is gone. Like, it is not a format that LSS like has on their website anymore. That's how far off it is. But I do think that this move from Commoner to Silver Age is super awesome, because it doesn't really raise the ceiling too high as far as cost. And a lot of my own personal complaints with Commoner is that, sure, you had access to the same pool of heroes effectively, but you didn't get to have a lot of that core identity of a lot of these heroes. One of my personal gripes was always like Vincent gets like 3 RuneGate cards and 2 of them are like okay, and none of them have any on hits, and it's just kind of whatever. Whereas in Silver Age, you get access to Deathly Whale and Deathly Delight and some other like pumps that are in Shadow Runeblade, and it just feels better to play that Vincent, even though it's still not as good as Chain, but it still feels better to play that Vincent and understand what the core mechanics are of the hero in Silver Age than it ever was in Commoner. Commoner was always just, you know, if you really wanted to talk about hyper Commoner competitive stuff, it was Oldhim, Ira, and like Chain every now and again. And that was it. You didn't play anything else. You played other things if you were just like, whatever, I'm not doing anything at the side event. Like, I'm just bored out of my mind. Let's see if I can just try my hand at an event, because I'm not doing anything until, you know, dinner later with the buds, you know? So it's not anything that it was like super taken seriously, but when it was 3 heroes, you played 3 heroes, that was it. And so I feel like you have a lot more power available to you in Sage, and I'm personally very happy that it was replaced by Sage. I know a lot of people in the Commoner community also felt the same way. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's still holding Commoner, and they're just like, this is it, this is my baby, and I'm going to keep this alive in my local community. That's awesome, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't play Commoner, but for the rest of us, it is definitely it was fun while it lasted. That was that. So
what you're telling me, my Commoner Scurv deck was not top tier? Is that what you're saying, Alex? I mean,
that is, as a matter of fact, that is what I was saying.
Oh man!
And you want to know why? Because Money Your Life is a rare.
Yes, true. That card's so good. I've been playing it in Sage.
It's so good. It's so good.
Holy smokes. I mean, what is that, like a 3 for 10? I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. Literally, it's crazy work. I mean, just way too much damage for what it's worth. And the pummel like discards a card if it hit. Like,
yeah.
You can pummel it. The fact you can pummel it is beautiful. It's just, that is one of those decks that I'm always just like, I love to sit across from it because I'm just like, you know what you're doing. You know what you came here to do, and I appreciate that about you.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. Now, looking forward for you with Pen coming out, right? You know, that is going to be the marquee set for Silver Age. So, going to give you a lot of room to work with, like in terms of making content. Do you revisit some of your A to Z that you've already done? Do you kind of maybe give some addendums in, like, you know, the show notes of those? Like, what is your plan just going forward when we see like all the commons and rares this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a busy time. I'm probably gonna be heads down for like 2 weeks, probably just like slamming out ideas. I don't think I'm going to revisit everything from A to Z, but I know that depending on the cards that we see, and especially even the cards that we've already kind of seen slightly sprinkled in, over the course of these couple of days, I definitely plan to revisit some of my personal favorites, maybe even touch on like which of these heroes is the best in its class kind of deal. That way you can determine if you do really like the play style of like Guardian over Assassin, you can choose this Guardian as, the favorite one. But if you'd like to do something a little bit different, you can try this one instead. So maybe like an A to Z of like 20 heroes, maybe. But like, I think outside of that, most of the meta is pretty fleshed out for right now, currently where we are with Sage. But I still think there's a whole lot of exploration to be done. And obviously with Pen, I'm going to be sitting here, brainstorming. I'm going to be talking to a bunch of people over my community, over in several of the Silver Age Discords, just brewing our brains out. And I'm sure something is going to be more broken than I initially view it to be. But that's the perk of testing and getting that all done. But outside of that, I think I'm probably going to, like content wise, I'd hope to start doing more in-person gameplay of Silver Age once Pen drops. And so then I can start like kind of putting a lot more focus on the actual gameplay of it, which would be a lot of fun. So
yeah. I mean, there are a lot of questions yet to be answered. Another question needs to be answered is we technically have a ban and restricted announcement on this upcoming Monday.
Yeah.
Do you expect anything to get hit for Silver Age?
I don't really think so. Because they probably would have done it already if that were the case, right? Like they didn't do it back when they made the other BNR announcement for CC. And because they said that they weren't going to touch this until Silver Age dropped or until Pen dropped. And so technically, I think what LSS's plan is going into this is going to be let them run free, right? And then we can determine what the true issues, like what did they miss during testing, right? Like this card with this card ends up being some busted infinite combo that OTKs their opponent, and that deck is top 8 at every showdown. Then it's maybe a situation where you go, okay, we ban that card, right? But I don't know that we're going to see anything instantly banned, even once we see everything. But we might, because theoretically they can't ban a card that we don't know about. So maybe that will happen. But I don't have. They seem to really want to put a loose leash on this one until they absolutely need to make a change. So, which is nice. I like that.
Yeah. No, I like that too. The only one that I would, I guess, like from what I know, be not super surprised to see is Soul Reaping. And, like I feel like that's operating on a higher power level than most other rares, I feel like. but maybe they let it ride. Maybe I don't know. It's really good.
I think that's the thing, right? Like they might let it ride, and then just when Chain gets the ban hammer 3 months from now, right?
Mhm.
Like that'll solve that issue, right? But I guess we'll see. I'm sure if it becomes to a point where, again, if I think the only thing that's really going to make like a very distinct change in the meta is if we get another 6 of the 8 heroes are Chain in top 8 of every competitive Silver Age event. I mean, even in London, right? Because calling is going to be all Silver Age stuff. Like everything's going to be Silver Age there. So if we see that even with day 0 or day 1 of the event and everything is Chain, I think they'll know that they need to make that decision. But Soul Reaping is definitely that's a card of all time. Like, I thank goodness it's a legendary, because that is crazy if that was 2. If you could run 2 of those things, but I think we all know Chain's going to get the ban hammer at some point here. So we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts.
That's for sure. And we'll be talking about like how we expect the major changes to be here in a bit. But before we get to some fresh faves, I do want to touch on the Common Language podcast that you do. How's that going? Any future plans for that as well?
I mean, as far as future plans, I know that we do plan to have, usually what we do is we go live to our channel members on Tuesday in the morning, and then Wednesday I post the VOD. But we're actually going to be going live to everybody next Tuesday at that same time, because we want to all talk about Sage, because all the commons and rares are going to be out at that point. So we're going to have a nice little discussion about that. But as far as like the future of it, I'd like to get more people on, right? I'd like to check out and, see if people are available. I know 9 a.m. on a Tuesday is usually not available for anybody, but, I think at the end of the day, we're also, we're doing some community listener questions and stuff too, to kind of like make it more of a community-based thing, because we just like we cannot stop yapping about Flesh and Blood. So anytime we get an opportunity to do it, we just do it. So it's good. I think I'm just happy that it's at a more regular schedule now, because if you see any of my uploads from 2025 regarding it, it was not at all like early 2025, and I'd release like an episode every 3 months. I'd be like, oh, what do I talk about? Maybe I can make this a podcast episode. And then I just never did.
Well, now we got the infinite content glitch with Sage, and
that's right. That's right. That's exactly what this is. I'm just like waking up in the morning and talking about budget stuff.
I love it. And yapping about Flesh and Blood. I wouldn't know anything about that. So yeah. Who would like to do that? But
so just the wonderful people that you're listening to right now, buds. That's right. It's us. Right. We're crazy.
We are. We have lost it, and we never had it. I'll tell you that.
Yep, exactly.
Now let's get to some fresh faves, my friend.
Yeah,
we're closing out. I keep saying this is one of the last Super Slam fresh faves, but it feels like I've been waiting forever for a Compendium of Wraith. But it's just like the third release of 2025, or like third release of a year, and then leading into the first release of the next year is always the longest. But I do have a lot of love for this set. So Super Slam, Alex, who is your favorite hero?
Oh, well, I think initially, and probably still, just like thematically, if I were ever to truly build them, now that I kind of get a better idea about what their deck style is, I do really like KO from the set. I think KO is pretty sick. I was initially very big on Tough Nut, and it's kind of like, it's hard to not say Tough Nut. I think Tough Nut is just such a fun, silly way to play Flesh and Blood, like from the most pure joy standpoint of Flesh and Blood. But I, as an assassin player, I love doing crazy shenanigans with my cards and getting full value while putting cards back in my deck. And so I think KO is definitely my choice.
Yeah, KO Underhand Cheat's just like so cool.
Very cool.
And, I'm with you on the Tough Nut stuff. I mean, like, the dream is there. It is. And one day that dream will be realized. I just, maybe this weekend we'll have a little bit better of an idea of what that dream could be, at least in Silver Age. But, but RKO is so sick. Now, no weapons in the set, but what's your favorite weapon to use with one of these heroes?
Oh, well, I mean, as far as that goes, Mandible Claw is just so good in RKO. But, I've been big on playing Romping Club with Tough Nut and not Rock.
Yeah.
Which is, I just think it's the more correct thing to do. It's definitely more yellow pitches than it is anything else. And I feel like if I'm put in a situation where I don't have cards in my hand and I need to swing something to threaten damage, I'd rather it be a breakpoint. So that'd be it.
That's fair. I'm big on the club too with Tough Nut. I'm hoping we get something else, like another
just give us Rock, but like for 5 and make it rare or something. Like,
stop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just give us Rock, but it's 5 damage instead of 7. It'll be fine. Nothing will go wrong. We can be trusted with that.
Just drop the K. It's just row.
Yeah. Just row. Row.
Now, what's your favorite Clash / and or talent card from the set? Oh, wait, I skipped equipment. Sorry. What's your favorite equipment? Holy smokes. Whose show is this?
I think out of the set, oh my God. Probably Gauntlets, Tyrannical Rex. Although I gotta say, the more I play like Pleiades in Sage, like Helm of the Adored is really crazy. Like, being able to block and then be like, yeah, this next thing is going to be nearly unblockable, buddy. Like, take that damage. I do think it's one of the two. It's probably the Helm. Probably Helm of the Adored or Helm of the, I can't remember what the revered or the reviled one is. Helm of the very angry at the crowd.
Nasty or something like
that. Helm of the bad person.
No, that's a great answer. You know what? I got some beef with confidence tokens, and it's mostly beef with my own incompetencies. But I keep playing games. People attack me with overpower. I'm like, I don't have any other block cards, and I'm just like, it's overpower is not confidence.
It's not confidence.
What's wrong with me?
There's too many. There's too many different ways for Guardian to just be like, I'm going to send this damage at you and it's going to be really hard to block. And then you have like Overpower, which is usually the easier one to block. And then it's like, which one is this? Is this Dominate? Is this Overpower? Is this Confidence? Like, somebody give me something, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Now, what's your favorite class and or talent card? We circled back to this one.
I think I just have to go with, even though I haven't done a ton of testing with it, I think just from a heartfelt standpoint, my favorite is Visit the Boneyard, because it was my first spoiler for Flesh and Blood. So I absolutely loved seeing that card. I remember seeing that card for the first time and being like, this has got to be turbo busted for Brood, right? There's no way this isn't the most insane thing ever. Get a Vigor, put a card back in your deck. Like, what are you talking? It's got to be so good. It could target Command and Conquer. I was like, this card's obviously so good, right? And it's like, yeah, Tough Nut maybe runs it, maybe 2 of them, maybe. And I'm like, one day we'll have a use for our foil Visit the Boneyards.
Listen, I actually think that day is closer than you think. I think that card, when you spoiled that, I watched it because we spoiled our cards at the same time, because I think we all got that email. And we're just like, I guess we spoiled it at this time.
Yeah,
it wasn't like we didn't think it was a range.
They were like, all right, here you're gonna spoil it at this time, at this day. That's when it goes live, and I'm like, all right, you got it, you got it, boss. I'll do it.
You got like arguably like top 5 art in the set. it's just so sick. And yeah, I think there's still like, you park that in Arsenal in like Rhinar, and then you just like, you do it when you like, you just bring back a skull crack to the top, and then you just do a wild ride turn. Seems like okay. Like, I don't know.
I think it's super good. There's a world in which I want to make it happen. And you're right. I do still feel like it's a pretty solid card to still run. It's great into clashes, right? If your opponent blocks with a clash card, you get to hold on a second. Let me put this 7 on top of my deck real quick.
Yeah.
And then, I won the clash. That's crazy. All right, cool. On to the next one. It's so cool. I love the card. But one of these days I'll do some. And the best part is the rare, so I get to play around with it in Sage. So.
Oh yeah. Now, what was your favorite generic card from the set? Bonus points if it blocks for 2.
Oh, my favorite generic.
Ooh. This one is a little bit harder because like a lot of the coolest cards are certainly class cards and talent cards.
Yeah, I think it's probably, what's that one? Prime the Crowd? That's a generic card, right? Let me see. I'm pretty sure.
Is that the one that buffs?
Oh my god.
And then
yeah, next attack action you play this turn gets +4 if it's red. And then the crowd cheers each revered hero and it boos each reviled hero.
Yeah.
That's kind of pretty funny. Cool. Like,
you can just play that in anything.
I mean, it's first and like really good for KO underhanded cheat, because you can't boo unless like a thing happens, right? Like specifically you are doing a boo. And so in this scenario, you're getting the boo, which also triggers things like Mocking Blow, right? Because then Mocking Blow, you don't have to be at higher life than your opponent. You just automatically get the buff and the buff from Prime the Crowd. I think it's a pretty good card. But if we weren't talking, because that's like generic, but let's be honest, it's not like generic. You know what I'm talking about? I would say Overcrowded is definitely one of my favorites. That card's crazy. Yeah. Like,
that's the most common answer this season, because it's an all timer. It really is.
It's good. It's a Justinic target. You can target that with Justinic. What in the world were they thinking? Crazy card.
Oh yeah. So good. Now, what's your favorite token? We've added this one recently. This one actually had a decent amount of tokens too.
Yeah, there were a lot. I mean, I do really think that confidence is just kind of insane. Mm-hmm. Like truly deeply insane. Because usually not a lot of people are playing a ton of block cards. It's like some decks usually have like, maybe like 4, maybe 6, but there's never really enough to where it's just like, cool, okay, your opponent could block with 2 non-block cards, which means that you have to choose between 2 cards from hand, a card in hand, or arsenal, and then also like a card in hand and maybe a piece of equipment. I think it's just really powerful, and I feel like the payoff for it is good too, because you do have to kind of like work to get that confidence in both life and also flesh and blood. But in specifically, like it just feels good to be able to get that and go, cool, this attack for 18 is going to be really hard for them to block. So I think confidence is pretty good.
Yeah, and like I do like the fact that like it is very powerful, and there's no doubt about that. But I love the fact that it's out there, unless you block with something that creates the confidence. So your opponent is like, I have to send maximum damage to try to prevent this confidence from being really devastating for me, which I think is very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, now, you put on a clock, which is really good. Fun.
Would you be reviled or revered in the world of Wraith?
I don't think I have it in me to be reviled, so I think I'm definitely revered.
Yeah.
I just don't know I have it in me. I don't know that I do. I think that I would, if somebody told me to, if I stab this person in the back, I could win the whole tournament, I'd go, sorry, that ain't me, Chief. I'll let them win.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, this one's a harder question to answer because who wants to be reviled? I mean, some people do. They're like, yeah, I'll be reviled.
Some people do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I play Arachne Huntsman in CC. I got to be reviled somewhere, right? Like some part of me has to be deeply reviled to want to do that. But I mean, it's just deep in my nature. I feel like I'm a revered individual. So
that's very fair. I could see that too. Now, forgive me, I don't remember what you answered last time in terms of your greatest set of all time, but has there been an update since you've been on the show last?
I gotta say, I really like the Hunted. I think the Hunted was sick. I think that set was sick. I think that every hero that came out of that set is insane. They've only gotten better as time has gone on. I thought about it being high seas only strictly because, like, the addition of Necromancer was always super cool. Mm-hmm. But Hunted, I mean, Draconic cards are near and dear to my heart. And frankly, I also love Assassin. And so both of those things are in that set. And I go, that's it. I think that's the one. So
it really was a banger. It's the unsung hero of last year, I think. And that's a great answer. Now, I would expect next time that you're on, maybe Penn is going to be your favorite of all time.
I probably, depending. We'll see.
But, the past couple days, if anybody hasn't paid attention to the Flesh and Blood YouTube channel, they've been posting gameplay of the Silver Age Precons. Now, if you don't know, there's going to be chapters of Silver Age Precons that will have, $20 decks that come with a pack, and they are allegedly tournament ready. Allegedly, and they also have some new goodies in there as well. So we've seen, as of recording, we've seen 6 of the Precons in action. I haven't had a chance to watch the one that came out tonight before we started recording, but we've seen KO, Bravo, Dorinthia, Icelander, Dash, and then Phi.
Yeah.
Yes. Thoughts so far?
I think that some of these decks have really good upgrades to them. My personal thought on it after watching all of the current videos that are out is that the cards printed for aggro decks are really good. The cards printed for not aggro decks are not good at all. not at all, but definitely like not anywhere near as like increase in power. Like I feel like the cards that we've seen in Phi, very thematic and also like give value to like playing more than one Phoenix Flame, right? That feels good. You're able to play a different kind of play style instead of just playing one Phoenix Flame. You can even just play the one Phoenix Flame and still get full value from it by, playing other cards like Rise from the Ashes. I think Frostbite is a fairly good card, and I'll stand on that. I think Frostbite's a pretty good card. But I think that the cards that we saw in Dorinthia, we only saw 2 pieces of equipment and nothing else. No new cards in Dorinthia besides 2 pieces of equipment. Temper 2, technically, in Warrior for Rare is pretty cool, but I don't think that solves where Warrior is, more specifically Dorinthia. Mechanologist got a busted card in Teklo Trebuchet 2000. If that card comes in red, dude, it's over, man. That's crazy. It's a crazy card.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I mean, maybe they can print it in red, but for those who don't know, Teklo Trebuchet 2000 is the one we saw was a blue 0-cost mech attack action card that attacks for 1, blocks for 3, has boost, and when this attacks, the next attack you boost this combat chain gets +2. So, I mean, at a blue, that's just insane. Anyway.
Yeah. It's a 0 for 3 blue. 0 for 3 go again on a blue, effectively, because you're coming in for, you're not only coming in for 1, a break point, right? Which is already going to cost either somebody their armor or a card from their hand, because you probably can play like boom grenades and things like that. And it's going to be really hard to block. But also on top of that, you then get to have your like throttle come in for like 8. You can send a throttle for 8 afterwards. Like, what in the world is that all about? And again, if it comes in red, we're talking a completely different. I mean, it practically replaces nearly every 0 to 60 in the deck. Like, it just replaces them because they're just better cards. So I don't know. It's a very, very powerful card. I think that's one of the cards that I saw that I was just like, wow. Now that is a cool card. And I hope to see more of that as we see more of these things. Cause like even today we saw KO, and KO looked really good. I mean, KO got a lot of good stuff. The chess piece, you get Blossom of Spring that blocks for 2, and at instant speed, you get to get a resource, which is just like unheard of. Usually you have to roll your Barkbone strapping for that, and you don't get to do any. You don't need to do any of that now. You get an upgraded version slightly of Run Roughshod and a reprint of Run Roughshod in the deck, which is so good. Just such a good blue base. And then we got, I can't even remember what else. I think that was it. And that's all we got for it. But it was just like so good.
Yeah. The aggressive stuff has been interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I don't know. It's like maybe they are being cautious about the defensive tools, right? You know, this is notably the format where you can't play Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, yada yada. But you know, it's going to be strange, right? Like I'm looking at these cards, and what I'm really paying attention to are like how good are these decks, right? And like it's hard for me to say, right? I can't really tell. Mm-hmm. I know you've played a lot of Silver Age. Would you say, I mean, I guess maybe not calling ready, but is this showdown ready, battle hardened / whatever they're going to call it now? Do you think these look ready to like rumble?
I think the aggro decks do. I think the other ones do not.
Okay.
I think the KO deck is stacked. I think the Dash deck is stacked. The Dash deck, funny enough, was like when I was looking through the deck lists, because the deck lists are also on the Card Vault in the on Fab TCG's website. I looked at it and I was like, this is like maybe 36 of the cards that were in my Dash deck that I also built and several other people built. Like, it's just all the good cards you would put in Mechanologist. Even the same weapon choices of making Talishar and Plasma Barrel Shot. And I was like, that's cool. Like, they're onto something for that. And those seem like the best built that I've seen out of the sets. Even like the Spell Void stuff that Fi got, you know, all this new Arcane Barrier stuff for Wizards, like, that's all still pretty cool as well. But I mean, I think there's some issues with like the Dory deck. I don't know why you're playing Wreck Havoc in the Dory deck. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you'd play Wreck Havoc in there. I don't know. You have Blue Puncture in that deck, which I feel like is just unnecessary. I think there are better cards you can put in there than Blue Puncture. I mean, I'm not like the deck building genius or anything, but I think I know what the good cards are that are currently existing in these classes. And sometimes I just see not the good versions of them in these decks. And I go, how is this going to win a showdown? Like, truly deeply, without your opponent just not blocking anything and then never attacking you. How are they absolutely going to win a showdown? And so I feel like it's one thing to say that they're competitive, that you can play with them in a showdown and have like tools into everything, because that's correct, right? I mean, you have Arcane. Yeah. This is the first time we've seen Precon decks that have had a sideboard with this. Well, outside of like, I guess the First Strike decks technically did too, but like these have a full sideboard, all 55 cards. Like, you have Arcane Prevention, you have Poppers. Like, they did really well for that being the case, but is it gonna win you the event? I don't know. I mean, because that also comes down to, we all know, like, it also comes down to the skill of the player. And
True.
like, I hate to break it to you, but like, probably, Brody Spurlock can probably pilot that Dory deck to the top 8 of a showdown. I certainly could not. I don't know many people that could. So
no, come on. You can do it.
It's something I'm going to try. It's going to be a fun series thing to like go in there and be like, all right, I took my favorite of the 10 decks. Like, let's see if this wins an event. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. But again, that's like that's me testing my wits. Whereas instead I could be playing Chain. Right. And we know how that's going to go. So.
Yeah. Well, I just block you out until you fatigue yourself. No,
yeah, right.
Which is a super interesting gameplay loop. Now, the funny thing is about these decks is maybe some answers have been presented, but I also think there's been some questions, right? A main question here is, well, first, Enclosed Firemind, which is the Guardian equipment headpiece in the Bravo deck that blocks for 0 and has Arcane Barrier 1. Now, notably in this deck also, there is Null Rune Boots, Null Rune Gloves, and Null Rune Robe. And for some reason, there's not a reprint of the hood, and you have a Guardian-specific piece. Like, what is, like, why? I don't understand.
I don't know, Tommy. I don't know. I can't. This is what I've been wrapping. This has been, before we started recording this has been the past like 30 minutes of me just sitting here talking to everybody I know going, Guardian mains, tell me, like, what is happening with this, right? Like, why does this look important to you? Maybe you know something that I don't. And every single one of them is going, I don't know, maybe there's a card that gives this defensive power because it's a Guardian equipment piece. And I'm like, yeah, but like the only time I could consider that even being like incredibly effective is into like a Rune Blade, right? Because then that could be your headpiece and you can just run the rest of your suite of block a bunch armor and then go, okay, well, I also want my headpiece to block a lot too. And then you block for 2. But like, you'd also have to give it like Blade Break. Because like, how are you just going to give a equipment piece Blade Break? Because it's not just going to block for 3 and then go back to your slot. Like, and if it did, why isn't that in the deck? Like, if that was the purpose for it, why wouldn't it be in the deck? And so we had this whole thing. A lot of people in the Colorado Discord here were talking about how it's a possibility that maybe they're going to get rid of Null Rune entirely, and they're making class specific Arcane Barrier. And I'm like, well, why would they reprint all this Null Rune if they were going to ban it? So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I think it's been the biggest crash out I've had after seeing all these decks is that they printed they printed Null Rune Robe or Null Rune Hood, but just made it a Guardian. So that way it looked cool wearing a actual like male piece of helmet instead of a cloth hood over yourself. Cause like, it's all about thematics when it comes to how I'm going to equip my Arcane Barrier. So
yeah, I don't get it. It's not even like it's a bad thing, right? Like necessarily, right? Like in the end, it's just like, why? The question is,
there's got to be a reason, right? And obviously, like, if I find out the reason is in Pen, right? It's some other rare that, does some crazy stuff. Like, that's cool. But I think that's where I would then go, well, why isn't it in the set again, right? Or wasn't it in the deck, right? Like, if that was the purpose of this card was to interact with this helmet, why isn't it in the deck that you're putting the helmet into? So I hope Guardians get everything they want. I hope Guardians get the value of their Null Rune hood that is just Guardian flavored. So I don't know what its purpose is going to be, but right now its purpose is they didn't want to print Null Rune hood into the ground. So they said, what if we just made a Guardian Null Rune hood and pretended like they would never notice? So.
Yeah. It's bizarre. It's strange. It feels like it should have had like like Guardwell 1 or something like that.
Yeah, if it had Blade Break 1 or something, I'd have been like, okay, cool, right? It's your, or, Battle Worn 1 even. If it's just Ison's Peak, but like you can block one physically and block one in Arcane, sure, right? That's awesome. That's an awesome headpiece to have, so that way you can block one and prevent Arcane. It's perfect into Rune Blades. You still get the block point for the break. Like, it's still super good. But they just put a big fat 0 at the bottom right of the card and said, this is just Null Rune Hood, but it says Guardian down in the middle. So it's different. And it'll be different. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. I don't know what's going on with it. But the other big question, I mean, now, as I said before, we've only seen 6 of these decks, but I'm sure there'll be some more doozies for us the rest of the week, because it seems like we're going to get something every night. There's a lot of Icelander players dooming out there. Seeing the Icelander deck, this is kind of the return of the hero to a competitive format. I get it. Yeah. A lot of Icelander players have been waiting for it. And yeah, I see it, and you look at Crucible of Aetherwave, you're like, what? Like, I get it. You're like, it's not the Icelander you grew up with, right? This is not the Icelander of the golden years. This is new Icelander, because Waning Moon's just too good for this format.
It's really good.
And I understand, but like, you're looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking at the deck. You get a couple physical attacks, right? You get the Finals Fighting Spirit, the Wounded Bull, a Look Tough for whatever reason.
Yep.
And one Look Tough, by the way.
Just cause you just get one Look Tough. It's fine. It's whatever.
But it's still a ton of Arcane in here. I guess you have a Brothers in Arms too, but that makes sense with this deck.
Right.
It makes more sense with Waning Moon.
It sure does. It sure does. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I maybe I'm out of touch. No, it's the kids that are wrong.
No, it's the kids. It's the kids who are wrong.
But I think that this still looks like a fine Icelander deck, right? You got some nice big old spells that are going to be tough to deal with. So, what are your thoughts here?
I think that everybody likes to doom before they play out the card in their testing, because initially they see it and they're like, well, that just feels bad, right? Yeah. Because A, it doesn't block, so it feels bad that you can't block with it. B, it has to it specifically gives a frostbite. Its effect specifically gives a frostbite in an exposed zone. So if your opponent is playing a bunch of equipment that doesn't break, it's like Blade Beckoner, which is the most popular, right? Obviously, you're not playing Blade Beckoner into like Wizard. You're playing Null Rune, which also doesn't break. So in that scenario, when are you going to get the full value of the card, right? Yeah. I've seen a lot of people also complaining about the fact that it doesn't say target hero puts a frostbite in an exposed zone. It just says put a frostbite in an exposed chest, arms, or leg slot, which means that if you, the Icelander player, do not have an exposed zone and your opponent doesn't, you get a frostbite, which feels bad, sure. But I think that any Icelander player worth their salt is not going to give themselves a frostbite. I think they're going to see those cards immediately and then go, this is a blue I get to play on my opponent's turn that gives them a frostbite no matter what. Like, they're going to get a frostbite just from Icelander's effect in general. And if they happen to have an open slot in their, in their equipment suite, you get another point of value there. I think it's still enough to deal with aggro. It still really affects like Guardian in a lot of ways, because they don't just get to keep like a blue and a red and send Titan's Fist, right? Like, they still have to keep 2 blues, right? Which means that they're not probably pitching to Arcane a whole lot. I think it's still enough, but I'm sure this isn't the only Ice/Wizard card that we are going to see in Pen. I know that, again, it brings me back to, my topic of kind of like, if there are better cards to put into the deck, why are they not in there already, right? But maybe this is just like a, drive sales kind of deal of like, oh, if you really want to upgrade this to like something really insane, you can open up that Compendium of Wraith pack that comes in your with your deck, and you get a cool ice card that's going to be able to be put in there. I'm sure there's something to do with it, but I don't think it's. I think it's fine. It's Blizzard effectively, but for Sage, and that's enough to stop Briar. So I think it's fine. I think it's enough to stop Chain in some cases, because Chain still has to pitch for RuneGate stuff if you got 2 Frostbites. So
yeah. I think so quickly we forget how brutal a single Frostbite can be. Right?
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
It could just take over a game. So it's interesting. Now, to end on a positive note with this, I got 2 questions. But first, what's the biggest positive that you can take away from what we've seen so far?
That they're still willing to push a budget format as something that's hyper competitive. And I think that's, regardless of how, at the end of the day, when all the decks are released and we know what all of them are, we know that there's going to be Chapter 3 decks. We know they're not stopping with Chapter 1 and 2. Who knows if there's a Chapter 4, but it's not on the docket, at least from what I could tell based on their roadmap that we last saw. But I think it's just, the positive thing is that at the end of the day, if you really need to upgrade it, if it really is like that bad and you're like, oh God, like I want people to pick up this deck for the first time and then be able to play it and like win an event. We all have to know that we still have to learn how to play Flesh and Blood first. So if you're a brand new player and you're not familiar with Flesh and Blood, still have to learn that. But also it to upgrade the deck to being competitively viable. Like, let's say there's some cards that just are not actually that good and could be swapped out for other things. It's like $5.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Like, I cannot stress enough. You don't have to buy legendary equipment. You don't have to buy Fableds. $5 if you really want to upgrade the deck. So that's
how many
positive
LGSs are going to have like bulk boxes and stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. And if they don't, somebody else, right? Somebody locally near you probably has, much like myself, because if I turn this camera around, you would see it, like 25 row boxes of bulk at their house that they are just willing to give away to new players because it's going to help them on their journey. And so that is, somebody out there has cards for you. So you're going to find your upgrades. You're going to find ways to get new cards, and maybe you get some rainbow foils in there too.
Yeah.
But
make it shiny. Why not?
Yeah, make it shiny.
Now, we got some listener questions, but first, on the 31st, a couple days from when this airs, we will see all the commons and rares from Compendium of Wraith. What do you specifically desperately want to see out of it?
I want to see, for both my sake of Silver Age and also Classic Constructed, I want to see new contract-based attack reactions.
You and every other assassin player out there.
That's it.
That'd be
That's
cool.
all I want, is to be able to pump up my surgical extraction to 10 again several times until my opponent cries. That's it. That's all I want to do.
That's fair. That is fair. Now, we do have some listener questions, folks. These come from the Buds Discord, free for anybody to join. And we got a couple here. First, coming from Always Be Crabbin', who asks, who is a hero that you think folks are sleeping on in Sage, and why?
Sleeping on? Ooh, gosh. Probably Dash. I don't see nearly as many mechanologist players as I thought I was going to when we started seeing Season 0, like Silver Age events. I don't think I've seen nearly any like mechanologists even try their hand. Maybe it's just because like the fear of block slop guardian like getting kind of crazy. But I think that I mean, we have a local who's just like jamming max nitro at every one of the events, and he gets to he goes like nearly undefeated until his final game. So I think Mechanologist is pretty good. And of course, now with, Trebuchet, I think it's going to be even crazier. But Dash specifically from Arcane Rising has always been my like go-to. If you're new to the game, play this hero. Super easy to learn and has a damage ceiling like no other. So that's my choice.
Max the Hype Nitro.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
crazy.
That sounds like a lot of fun, to be honest. Next question comes from Darth Prentice, aka Greg, who
I
asks,
love Greg.
Greg's the man. What's your favorite class to play in a tabletop RPG and why? And then also, have you played a TTRPG recently and used a fab hero as your direct inspiration?
Well, I've not played a TTRPG recently. I would love to play Dungeons and Dragons again, but I just can't see. I'm one of those individuals where I can gather people for a session, and then we all have life happen, and then I never see them again to do it. But as far as my favorite class to play, funny enough, if I can find any class that is akin to a Runeblade, where it's like sword and sorcery kind of deal, I love that. Ever since I've gotten into like the fantasy genre as a whole, the concept of like taking a sword and then waving your hand over it to light it on fire has been the coolest thing that I've ever thought of in my entire life. And when I found out that you can do that in things like Dungeons and Dragons and in several other TCRPGs, I'm just like, that's where I want to be. I want to kind of effectively be a Runeblade. So if I were going to use a fab hero as that, probably would be, I don't know, probably Florian. Florian's actually a pretty cool hero to try and roleplay as, I'd imagine.
Not play as a fab hero, but roleplay, I could see for sure.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest things about this game, just to get like that sword and sorcery embodied into a whole genre. Now, Alex, this has been a lot of fun, as it always is with you.
As always.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, talking about some Silver Age. It's going to be pretty exciting in the next couple months. I can't wait to see how the votes go for Silver Age.
Oh my God.
It's gonna
be so fun.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be insane. Could you imagine we go through all of this, people complain about Chain for the entirety of season 0 and probably season 1, and he doesn't get banned?
Oh, God.
Could you imagine?
I mean, LSS has to do it then, right? Like, because they're picking 1 too, right?
Yeah, I'm imagining their pick's going to happen first, right? Because then that way we're not all choosing the same hero that LSS picked. But I don't know.
I was assuming the opposite, that they'd see how our votes went, and then
choose the 4th,
and then be like, "Well, they got this wrong," so.
I see. That very well could be the case too. I wouldn't put it past us to screw everything up in the course of voting system, and then
when has that ever happened? To vote out
Betsy, right? When has that ever happened? That never happened a day in our lives. We'll have Betsy leave the Sage format, and that'll be it. Everybody will go, no.
That would be a little too hilarious. But Alex, can you please plug everything you'd like to plug? Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Everybody can find me over on my YouTube channel, AshenWingzTCG. That's where most of my content is. You can also find me on Blue Sky, AshenWings.bsky.social, or whatever the heck the thing is over there. I have a Twitter. I don't really post a whole lot on Twitter, but sometimes I'll do like video updates and stuff over there. So Twitter is also AshenWings. But yeah, I mean, stay tuned. It's just a lot of the content you're about to see is going to be me screaming about pieces of cardboard for the next like 2 weeks. So it's going to be a time and a half, let me tell you.
I can't wait. You all can continue to find me on Blue Sky at freshbudspod. If you listen on the YouTube, give us the old like, comment, subscribe. Bud's Discord, awesome place to hang out. That's free to join as well. If you listen on any like audio platforms that let you rate. That helps as well. Patreon, I do a bonus episode on the Patreon every week. It might be late this week because I'm working tomorrow night. We'll see. But it will come out eventually. And Fresh Juice is an indie game podcast I do with my cousin every week as well. And I like to finish every show, as always, talking about food, Alex. Is there any food you want to shout out? Anything you've been enjoying lately? Anything you're craving?
Ooh, if I could eat chicken Alfredo for the entirety of my life, for every meal, I would forever. And I will. I don't think I've changed that answer in like maybe 20 years. So
I think that's what you said last time. Actually, it's all coming back to me.
I kid you not. I don't think that there's anything that could bring me more joy as a sustainable food source than chicken Alfredo.
I love
it. It fuels me. I love it.
You know what? Fair play to you. That's it's a stick to your ribs, comforting meal.
That's right.
It's a cold winter. Very, very good. Unfortunately, we don't have time for Charmer, but maybe next time. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Please stay fresh.